Hello and welcome to the Utica Home Track Series for the qualifier race for Indianapolis. Now this is the Brickyard circuit, a famous circuit. Here's your entry list of over 20 cars, and there are 10 spots available due to 3 teams dropping out of the running, being Jeff Evans, Billy Bishop, and Kevin Ulrich. So those teams have closed down. They've left some extra room for some of these drivers to work their way in. On pole for the qualifier race is Jerry Guerra, car number 78. Now, the Guerra Motorsports cars, well, actually they're called Blue Motorsports, but the Guerra cars, number 6 and 78, you're going to have to get used to them looking different this week. They are switching to Fords, and the DuPont Tribute car is now done for. They are switching to 7-Up for Jerry Guerra and Sprite for Nicholas Guerra. So we'll have to see how they do. It's a good start already for Jerry Guerra, as he is already in the lead. So he's looking pretty good for this position in the race. Now Jerry Guerra has been slowly working his way up these past couple of weeks. Maybe by the end of the year he can work his way into a spot in the top 35 in points. That way he doesn't have to worry about 2014. Now let's take a look at the driver that actually is in 10th place right now. It is Adam Dunlap, car number 67. Now, this is the only Toyota in the field, as Brian Brote did not bring the teammate car to the track this week. Prudence Littlejohn's not going to be attempting for a while, and Dylan White closed down his ride. Now, Adam Dunlap, this is the track where he made his reappearance with Benoit Motorsports last season. He's hoping that it will provide better luck than it did last year. Dunlap, car number 67. This is currently the last scheduled race for him until Myrtle Beach. So he's hoping that he can put together some funding together, maybe to run something else, maybe the Kyalami event or the Super Speedway in Sierra. Those are some things that are considered, but they are not set in stone yet. And there's Dylan Young working his way underneath. Will he be able to do it? No. Adam Dunlap gets a little bit of momentum on the outside. We'll have to see if Adam Dunlap can keep this 10th place position or work his way past Vladimir Petrov. Debut driver this weekend, Caitlin Stringer, running as the teammate car to Matt Duell for Duell Motorsports. So he's been looking for a teammate car, and they have one finally. Breast cancer awareness on the number 90 machine, and they're hoping that this car can run as well as Matt Duell, maybe even better. But at the current moment, they're running pretty far back in the pack, so they're going to have to really work their way up if they want a shot at making the field. Now Matt Duell is currently a couple of positions ahead, trying to pass the 50 car for 11th place. So Matt Duell trying to work his way to the front, trying to make sure he can get into that top 10, but he's got to deal with Dylan Young. Best of luck to Caitlin Stringer. Hopefully she can make her debut start soon. A big shout out to Jack Darby, car number 1. This car is having a magnificent race at the moment, sitting in 2nd position. Now Phoenix-Indiana Motorsports have had drivers that have just came out of nowhere to do good. Jack Darby's been waiting his turn. Now, he's currently not scheduled to run next week at the Rockingham circuit in the United Kingdom, but they're hoping that this car will do well there, and they're hoping it does well today. I'm not exactly sure who is going to be the driver replacing it for next week, but I'm assuming that they're going to be better at the foreign racetracks. But Jack Darby, pretty confident that he's going to be able to make his first career start today as he battles with Jerry Guerra, car number 78, for the race lead. And it's great to see the monster colors back on track, as Dylan White did not stay in this series very long this season. Let's talk about another Dylan Young, car number 50. He's just outside that top 10. He's looking to make it in. He's a driver that has a great chance of working his way into the top 35. He just needs to make the show. Now the Outback Steakhouse Chevy, currently running the Outback colors this weekend, so that paint scheme is usually reserved for the road courses. Wendy's will be back in the car next week when we head to Rockingham, but he's hoping that he can seal the deal today and make it into the field. This is a single car entry. They're trying to work with the funds. Who knows, maybe they will add a second car in the future, or they'll just put more effort into this number 50 ride. Now Dylan Young has been battling with Matt Duell, car number 88, for this 11th place position. Matt Duell is pretty persistent. We'll have to see if he can hold off that charging number 88 machine, the green number 88 in his rearview mirror. But the main goal for Dylan Young, catching up to that 67 machine, who has put a gap between the two. We take a look at Michael Creed, car number 01. This car started off not being particularly well. He didn't do well at Daytona and did not do well with Prudence Littlejohn at the helm at Sonoma. But after they went to Martinsville, Michael Creed got into the race. He had okay run, and he's currently in position again in the spiffy number 01 Everlast Dodge. Now, Allen Motorsports has really struggled this year with all of his cars, with the exception of Andreas Allen, but they're having a good show here in Indianapolis, and this is the debut race of Allen Motorsports. This is where Andreas Allen made his first start 1 year ago. Speaking of Allen Motorsports, we take a look back at Vladimir Petrov. He currently sits in 9th position, and that's currently a spot in the race, which means all 3 of the Allen Motorsports cars would be in the field. This is the first time this has happened, I believe, since Zandvoort at the beginning of this year, when Vladimir Petrov, Joe Martin, and Andreas Allen were in the field. Now, Vladimir Petrov has kind of fallen off in the past couple weeks. He did not make Sonoma, which everyone was expecting him to. He had trouble at Daytona, and he had trouble in Martinsville. He's currently running in the top 10 right now. He's hoping to get enough points to get into the top 35 so he doesn't have to worry about this. Now, Vladimir Petrov, a great driver, also running Utica Rallycross Series, which so far, based on the Yuma event, is not going in his favor. But he's hoping that he can start turning things around as we head into the summer. Take a look back at car number 06, Inman J. This is his last run in the 06 car before he switches over to Oku Yamadea. Now, unfortunately, for some drivers like Matthias Strauff and Darren Gale and them, they will not be able to run because due to budget cutbacks, they have said that Oku Yamadea is just going to finish out the rest of the season, trying to get that 06 car locked in. And then Josh LeMayo would be your driver at Myrtle Beach. Inman J has not accrued enough points to beat Josh LeMayo and get that spot at Myrtle Beach. And it doesn't look like he will today, as he is pretty far back in the pack. It's a shame. This car did very well at Sonoma, but he was unable to make it at Martinsville, and it looks like he's not going to be able to make it here as he battles with Willie Decker and the number 90 machine of Caitlin Stringer. Phoenix right on board. Next time you'll see this car, it'll have Sailor Moon on it. We look up at the front of the pack at Joey Beatty, who's caught up to Michael Creed, and they've pushed each other up to Jack Darby. Now, the Phoenix-Indiana Motorsports cars have really turned some heads after they debuted at Daytona abruptly, with such great runs by Zach Saturday, and Joey Beatty last week at Martinsville getting a top 10 in his debut start. He's hoping to repeat the same success today, as this 12 car seems to be a bit unstoppable on the racetrack. Though we do praise him for his second place last week, he finished 4 laps off the pace, so we're going to have to see how he does in a race that isn't marred by that many cautions. This track might be a little better for that, as cautions here happen but aren't a guaranteed thing. He currently sits up there in the top couple cars, but where is the other Phoenix-Indiana Motorsports car? It's sitting a little further back. That's Thomas Beatty in the History Channel Ford. This car is currently not locked in. Wait a second, but we look at the battle up there. Dylan Young trying to go past Adam Dunlap on the outside. Matt Duell is not going to have any of that. Is going to try and capitalize on the inside. Now, Matt Duell, along with trying to make the race, he's also trying to accrue points in the qualifier series, trying to get first place at the end of the year so he's locked in the Bristol next season. But as we go back to Thomas Beatty, car number 11, he did well at Daytona under the name Thomas Green. But ever since then, things have just kind of fallen off for this team. They did an entire team overhaul, and they've changed their cars, their numbers, their sponsors, their drivers, their identities even. And so far it's worked for everyone except Thomas Beatty at the moment, so he's going to have to try again when he attempts to race in Rockingham, United Kingdom next week. Take a look back at Brendan Patterson, who's just having a train wreck of a season. It started off so well. He won the qualifier race at Bristol. He was locked into that race, but then Connor Atwood stepped in for Megville and Zandvoort. They fell out of that top 35, have not been able to gain it back. William Duncan has had a great season. He's up near the championship lead, but Brendan Patterson has just been nothing but struggles for the 84 car between both him and Atwood. He's second to last on track now, beating only Nick Capps, car number 18, who seems to be a little off pace at the moment. That's a shame for the number 18 machine. And whoa, Shelby LaGray gets a little loose in the number 28 as she's also having a pretty poor run. She had such great confidence after doing well in the All-Star race. They brought it here since they had a little extra funding, but it's not going to work. They will bring that number 28S machine back at Myrtle Beach, but that one's going to be a little harder to attempt. We take a look further up at Justin Benoit, who had a horrible All-Star Challenge weekend, wrecking in a practice session, getting out the backup, and then wrecking the backup in his qualifying run, not being able to start it. But he's back. He's hoping to really do well here today, and look at that, he is in the top 10, and he's got a bit of a cushion because he's ahead of Alex Tankard and Esteban Cortez. So he looks like he's going to start this event on Saturday in the number 22 Star Wars Chevy, as he battles with Alex Tankard in the 34 car and Joseph Bryant the 80, who's been kind of holding these drivers up. Justin Benoit has had some unsavory things to say about Joseph Bryant, along with other drivers on track in previous races. But there goes Justin Benoit, car number 22. He's having a great race, though. It doesn't look like his father is going to be able to make the field in the number 74 car, despite having a great win in the All-Star Challenge Open, but then a horrible flip in the All-Star Challenge itself. Willie Decker, car number 1X, still has not gotten the funding to get a 2011 car. He still has a 2000 model. He has not gotten that funding from JFI yet. They've done well, but not well enough to secure the investment. It is iffy if they're going to attempt Rockingham next week. They may go to England, but skip out on Ruin Lake Certs and Kyalami if the funding is not present. They may run some dirt races to try and bring it up. But the number 1X team, a true devotion to trying to keep their team afloat. A great driver, and they have their website, comeracewithus.com, trying to fund the modified team. So that operation has been successful. They just got to see if the Utica Home Track Series operation will work as well. As he battles right there, a couple spots away from making the show. Let's take a look back at some drivers in the back of the pack that are having a rough day. Dion Scott, car number 25, made his debut last week, having a great top 20 finish, but this week not doing well in the qualifier at all. And he got into a wreck in the All-Star Challenge as well, so things have not been going good for the past 2 weeks for Dion Scott. Right ahead of him is Joshua Michaels, car number 13. He was hoping for a little better coming out of this weekend. He's just probably going to have to stay on the sidelines and root for Ray Takeda in the number 13X. She's going to be in the field, and the good thing is the templates have arrived for the Rosario Plus Vampire car, so they were able to get those in the mail. They got them ready on the car this weekend. The 13X is going to be decked out in those colors this week. But it's a shame for a lot of these drivers back here, including Shelby LaGray, Brendan Patterson, Nick Capps, all of them having such high hopes going into this weekend. They're going to be dashed. And now we are closing in on one lap to go. Adam Dunlap is in the 10th place position. There is Matt Duell, car number 88. Now with a challenge on Dylan Young by Thomas Beatty, it's basically a two-car race. Can Matt Duell push that car hard enough and get around the number 67 machine? The 67 machine is on an underfunded team trying to stay afloat. They're running only the bare minimum of a schedule. This is his last chance to make a race before Myrtle Beach, but meanwhile, Matt Duell, he's trying to secure himself a spot in the top 35. He's trying to support an underfunded team as well. Can he catch up to the 67 Toyota? Here we go. Only 2 turns left. Vladimir Petrov seems to be in the clear, and so is Esteban Cortez, the number 86. But Matt Duell trying to close up. He's gaining ever so slightly every turn, but I don't think it'll be enough. Coming to the line, we have report that Jerry Guerra is your race winner, and it looks like Adam Dunlap, car number 67, is going to get the 10th and final spot in the race here at Indianapolis. Congratulations to the Video Games Awesome Toyota. They had an awesome run, but unfortunately Matt Duell is unable to qualify. Let's take a look at the drivers that did qualify for today's race. So Jerry Guerra, Jack Darby, Michael Creed, Joey Beatty, Joseph Bryant, Alex Tankard, Justin Benoit, Esteban Cortez is first in a while, Vladimir Petrov and Adam Dunlap. This means Jack Darby will make his debut start. Now let's take a look at the drivers who failed to qualify. Matt Duell, Dylan Young, Thomas Beatty, Willie Decker, Brian Benoit, Inman J, Caitlin Stringer trying to make her first start, Joshua Michaels, Shelby LaGray, Dion Scott, Brendan Paris, and Nick Capp. We'll see some of these faces next week in Rockingham. Now let's take a look at the qualifier series points. Matt Dool still on top with a good margin over Justin Benoit, followed by Andrew Robinson, who's currently locked in. Estados Cortez and Vladimir Petrov round out the top 5. Then Dylan Young, Jerry Garrow, Willie Decker, Alex DeMarco, who's a locked-in driver now, and Alex Tanker, you're running out the top 10. There are other drivers, but they're not listed there. Next up is going to be the Indianapolis race. I hope you'll join us for that. It should be an exciting event here at the Brickyard. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you next time.